Hi, and welcome to What It Takes. I'm Denise Powell. At What It Takes, we're here to talk with you about everything from getting out of crazy, difficult situations to doing what it takes to get to your seat at the table of greatness. We're here today to talk about a very odd, crazy, difficult subject for many people, and that is the subject of bankruptcy. And I'm here with my friend Ora Chamberlain.
Hello.
And Ora is an expert on many things financial, I've come to find as a friend. And she indicated to me one day we were talking, I was telling her, Ora, you really should give more people information about all these things that are in your head and that you've acted upon that have helped you overcome a lot of odds and basically and wind up on top. And I'm really proud of you, so thank you for being here today.
It's my pleasure.
All right. Well, first I'd like to ask you, what made you feel like you needed to do a bankruptcy?
Well, I moved here back 2002. Left my husband. We were headed for divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Came to Atlanta, and I realized all the calls, the mounting bills, everybody was coming after me and not him. So I did some research and found out my best option was bankruptcy.
Okay. And so basically, what is bankruptcy? How can it benefit you? How can doing a bankruptcy benefit you?
Well, there are a few ways that bankruptcy can benefit you, but number one, it stops the bill collectors from calling.
That's
and number
big.
two, you're forced to put yourself on a budget that works for you. And then your credit is repaired. And then the main thing is you have a fresh start.
Awesome. Well, let's be straight up with the viewers too. What's the downside of bankruptcy?
The downside of bankruptcy is that if you don't follow the rules that are governed by the attorney in the court, they will cancel you. And what that means is that your payments have to be in on time. And I would suggest to everyone to do a payroll deduction. Sometimes the payroll deduction may take a moment to get through, but that's the best option.
Okay. And there are different types of bankruptcy. I've heard of, I would imagine most viewers have heard of like Chapter 7 and Chapter 13. What's the difference between Chapter 7 and Chapter 13?
Okay, with the Chapter 7, you no longer have any obligation to pay the bankruptcy, the bills that you brought forward. And that only applies if you don't have a home or if you don't have any tax liens. And with the Chapter 13, you, the debtor, have to pay that back from your future salary over 3 to 5 years.
Okay, you have 3 to 5 years to pay off, but with the 7, you wipe out all your debt.
That's correct.
So that's the difference between those. The key difference is with the 7, you wipe out all your debt. And is that the one you did?
I did the 13. I paid mine back.
Okay.
I paid mine back because I had some things I didn't want to lose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
But in the end, paying that back helped me in the divorce.
Okay, great. And one thing that prevented me, I think, when I was at that point of when I was going through a divorce and I was considering doing bankruptcy, I was afraid that it would, and viewer, you may agree that that you might not be able to buy a home.
Well, that's not exactly true because I own a home now that I've been in for the last almost 4 years.
Wow.
And in fact, bankruptcy restores your credit if you learn from what happened before. You don't make bills that you can't afford. But in my case, it was my husband didn't take care of the obligation, so they came after me. So I had to find some way to stop the madness.
Right.
And Chapter 13 worked for me.
That sounds great. That really makes a lot of sense. So what are the steps to filing bankruptcy? What do you have to do? I think first you have to qualify, but what qualifies you?
First of all, when you have more bills than you have money, that's one qualifying effect. But once you go to an attorney, there are some attorneys out there or companies that do bankruptcies. That's their specialty. They will give you all the information you need, and they help you determine if you qualify. And usually you do qualify.
Ah, okay. If you basically, the high point is having too much month at the end of the money.
Yes, too much debt and not
Right.
enough money. Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. And then what do you have to do to file?
Basically, filing means that you're bringing all your bills, old cell phone bills that you never thought about, but you get done for every now and again. You want to bring everything to the table, your mortgage, your car note, everything. And then you tell them what you would like to keep, and they work with you on it. And so that's how it starts.
Right. And then do you have to go through an attorney?
Pretty much. You want to have the legal people there because this is a court proceeding. Because once the lawyers gather your bills and they make an assessment and they tell you what it's going to cost to file, and this happens within 2 days, the bill collectors stop calling because the lawyers go to the court, they file your paperwork, and then you have a date to go to court in front of the judge.
Wow. Did you hear that? 2 days?
2 days.
Can you imagine?
The calls stop coming.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. And so what's the time period of
that whole process
bankruptcy?
Can take 30 to 45 days to be approved by the judge. But for you, the relief stops right away as soon as you pay your first installment for the court. And that's usually about $250 or $300. And so that right away, within 2 days, you have relief.
Right. Meaning nobody's calling you.
Yes.
You're not getting incessant calls from not just salespeople, but collectors. Okay. So what else would you say is really, what are the real, if you had to give a message to somebody about filing your bankruptcy, what would you say is the most important thing that they should keep in mind?
I would say don't drown in debt. Don't ignore your debtors. Go and seek help. It's better to know if you qualify and follow the procedure than not. Because this way you don't you restore your credit and you're able to buy a home. And I would just say for those that are going to file bankruptcy, make sure you report all your bills. Make sure once your bankruptcy is approved that you don't miss any monthly payments, because you don't want to have an instance where the judge throws out your bankruptcy, because you'll want to start over again, and then those new fees apply again, but the calls stop again. So that's the key.
Because now, how much leeway does a judge give you, or the system? How much leeway does the system give you as far as if you don't have a monthly, like, automatic payment set up?
Well, they give you 2 months to get it set up, payroll deduction.
Yes.
And you maybe can even be late on one of them, but after that, there is no late.
Okay.
And some people say they're going to do the payroll deduct, but they don't.
Yes.
So they fall into default, which cancels them out, which happened to me, and I learned the hard way.
Okay.
So the second time around for me was the best, and I followed through, and here I am today. I own my own home.
Right.
I'm not bill free, but I'm not bill over my head in bills.
Right.
Everything is
great.
very manageable.
Yes, that's awesome. That is awesome. And so now you said something really important. You said that you filed twice?
I filed twice.
Yes.
The first time I defaulted because I thought, oh, I could do this. And as it turned out, sometimes it was 2 days before I was to get paid.
Yes.
And the payment was due. And you can't send a bad check because that's an automatic decline of your bankruptcy.
Yes.
So I fell into default. My bankruptcy was canceled. And so I had to go through the process again.
Okay. Wow. And would you recommend somebody just go through that process over and over and over again?
Well,
or is it possible to even?
I think you get 2 or 3 tries. And I've known people that have filed 7 years later. But I learned from the first time that,
Yes.
you know, it just, you know, you have to live within your means.
Right.
that's just the bottom line, living within your means so that you're not overextended.
Right. Okay. Yes. So are there any resources that you would recommend as far as like any website or anyone that
Yes, I would
people
say
should maybe go to?
Clark and Howard is the firm that I use, but if you Google bankruptcy, there are just gonna be so many that come out there to help you.
Right.
So there's lots of help out there.
Okay. All right. Well, this was very informative. I really thank you for coming.